Hello and welcome back. This is Teresa Adams with the Community College of Denver. And today what we're going to do is work on examples of the sum and difference identities for sine and tangent. So when you have the sine of 15 degrees, what it's asking you to do to make your life easier is to write the 15 degrees in angles that you do know because they want the exact value for the expressions. So I know that the sine of 15 degrees is going to be 45 minus 30 degrees, because 45 minus 30 is 15. Now, using the sum or difference of sine, in this case it'll be the difference, I know it's going to be the sine of 45 degrees times the cosine of 30 degrees minus, and I like to do my sines first, so I'm going to now do the sine of 30 degrees, and then I'm going to do the cosine of 45 degrees. Because of the fact that we know the sine of 45 degrees is the square root of 2 over 2, and the cosine of 30 degrees is the square root of 3 over 2, the sine of 30 degrees is 1/2, the cosine of 45 is the square root of 2 over 2, and we multiply and simplify, and we get the square root of 6 minus the square root of 2 all over 4. Now let's take a look at our tangent here. It's a tangent of negative pi 12s, and I think we've done negative pi 12s before, but we're going to go ahead and do it again. So I'm going to rewrite this as the tangent, and if I have 3 pi minus 4 pi, I know that's going to give me a negative pi, and it's all over 12. So this is a tangent of 3 pi over 12 minus 4 pi over 12. Oops, that should be 12. Oh, 12. Let's erase that and put that as 12. So hang on a second. Let's see how good my erasing skills are today. Not too bad. Okay. So then this reduces to the tangent of pi over 4 minus pi over 3. Now we're going to use the difference for tangents. And so this will be the tangent of pi over 4 minus the tangent of pi over 3. Then it's over, and it's always 1 plus. So this is the way I remember it. As I take a look at this, if this is a minus, this is a minus, and that means this one has to be a plus. That's how I remember the tangent. All right, back to doing this. So I have 1 plus the tangent of pi over 4, tangent pi over 3. Tangent of pi over 4 is 1. Tangent of pi over 3 is 1 over the square root of 3. Then it's 1 plus. The tangent of pi over 4 is 1. The tangent of pi over 3 is 1 over the square root of 3. And because we don't like to leave fractions inside of fractions, let's go ahead and multiply everything by the square root of 3. And so I'm going to get the square root of 3 minus 1 over the square root of 3 plus 1. And I'm going to go ahead and let you guys do the tangent of 75 degrees, and I'll give you the answer. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to simplify each expression, use the appropriate identities. So what I'm looking for here on the first one is I'm looking for the fact that I have a sine, and I have a cosine, and not only that, but I'm going to look for particular things. This is a sine of 34, this is the cosine of 34. There's my alphas. Then I have the cosine of 13 and the sine of 13. There's my betas. That means this is going to become the sum of the angles. Oh, sum. I say sum and I write sum. Hang on a sec. Let me erase. And so this is going to be the sum of the sine of alpha and beta. So in other words, it's going to be 34 plus 13 degrees, which gives us the sine of 47 degrees. Now as I take a look at B, B is just a little bit more involved in the fact that I've got to remind myself about some of the things I know about odd and even, and remind myself that I know that the cosine, if the cosine of beta equals some number, then my sine is going to be equal to the same thing, but it's going to be 90 minus beta. So, using that information, I'm first going to look at the fact that I have here cosine, cosine, cosine. Wait, that's not right. So, let's start this one again. Well, let's start with the fact that we have odd and evens. So I'm going to ignore the cosine of 10 degrees and the cosine of 20 degrees. I'm going to deal with the cosine of negative 80. Because cosine is even, then I know that the cosine of negative 80 degrees is just the cosine of 80 degrees. And then sine is odd. So the sine of negative 20 degrees is going to be negative sine of 20 degrees. So what ends up happening is this becomes minus the cosine of 80 degrees, the sine of 20 degrees. Okay? Well, looks like we're getting closer, because now what we have is we have the cosine of 20, the sine of 20. But I have the cosine of 80 and I have the cosine of 10. That doesn't match. But remember, the cosine of beta is equal to the sine of 90 minus beta. So the cosine of 10 degrees is the same thing as the sine of 90 minus 10, or the sine of 80 degrees. So the sine of 80 degrees multiplied by the cosine of 20 degrees minus the cosine of 80 degrees, the sine of 20 degrees. Now let's take a look at what we've got. Now we have sine of 80, cosine of 80. We have the cosine of 20, the sine of 20. So, and it's a subtraction now between them, this becomes the sine of 80 minus 20, which is the sine of 60 degrees, and we all know this is equal to the square root of 3 over 2. So I'm going to let you guys do C, and remember it's tangent, and remember what I said about tangent. So let me give you the answer on that. Make sure you guys are comfortable with this answer. All right, we'll see you on our next video.